Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. The theme of this episode is cheating stories, so buckle up. And if you haven't already, please press the subscribe button, or if you're on Spotify or Apple, follow me, please, because it really actually helps me, and I love you, okay? So let's get into the episode. The title of the first story is, and I'm sweating right now, so don't mind me. I found my girlfriend of 8 years cheating tape. Her family, close friends, and cybercrime police are involved. I'm numb. Trigger warnings: infidelity, cybercrime, involuntary corn. Almost 3 weeks ago, a good friend of mine, Alex, and an acquaintance, Mike, got a hold of a video of my girlfriend, Jamie, screwing another man. Oh, of course her name is Jamie, so. Mike found this browsing through corn sites with niche themes and by chance recognized Jamie. Got into contact with Alex about it, where both of them told me about the infidelity. When Alex and Mike told me of the infidelity, I went somewhere between shock and numb. I couldn't really say anything until I saw the video where I proceeded to puke my guts out. I couldn't even sit through a minute of it. The fact that it was edited to go straight into the action with Jamie's face clearly visible didn't help. We drove Mike home, and Alex had good sense to force me to spend the night at his place rather than go home, where I shared an apartment with Jamie with no idea how that would end. We shared some beers, mostly in silence. Alex did try to make me open up on what I felt about Jamie's infidelity, but I was just numb. I didn't know what I felt, and I told him that. I felt like wading through water with no thought in my mind other than what was in front of me. Alex didn't force anymore, and I passed out sometime later. When I woke up, I recovered enough sense to realize that our relationship was most likely over. I go straight home through public transit, most likely brooding and or looking pissed. I wonder what the other passengers thought when they saw me looking like shit while trying to emulate Batman. I get home and catch her getting ready to go out. Asked me where I was and why I didn't contact her. I don't bother answering and just told her that we needed to talk. We sit down facing each other on our kitchen table that we built from scratch in my grandfather's farm, and that random thought pretty much broke the dam. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of harsh words were said. Accusations, blame. Too many details to describe, but essentially I immediately broke down in tears and asked her how the F she could ruin this relationship we worked so hard on. She's confused and wanted an explanation. I drop the bomb and show the video. She cries, begs for forgiveness, but I hear nothing. More crying and cursing until I tell her that we're over. That was it, and she just shuts off. She slumped down and closed her eyes, still crying, but says nothing. This gets me out of anger, and I try to figure out what she's doing. Talking to her, hard and gentle prodding, nothing. Absolutely unresponsive. So I just drag her to our bed and lay her there. I go back to our kitchen and call her parents, Alice and Julio. I simply told them they needed to come and that their daughter is suffering a mental breakdown. I say nothing more than just telling them that they needed to see us and that what was happening needed to be face to face to explain. I shut my phone off, go back to the kitchen, and think about what the hell just happened. Her parents rush to our apartment demanding what the F happened. I don't tell them about Jamie's infidelity, but just say that she needed mental help. She's on the bed acting comatose, but otherwise okay. They couldn't bring her out of it, and eventually I had to explain. I didn't want to do it without Jamie being able to explain herself. I showed them the video, and they're heartbroken. Told them we had an argument. I didn't hurt her, but she probably couldn't handle the stress and broke down. They decided to bring Jamie to her university's mental health clinic. I decide not to go with them. The next day, Jamie eventually wakes up. She's stable and responsive. There, she says the video was not consented. Her family decided to report this to cybercrime police. Jamie's family don't grill her with her mental state being the way that it is, but her parents are obviously ashamed and aren't sure what to do other than what the psychologist recommends, which is to let Jamie rest for a while and support her until they're sure she doesn't implode, and then she was sent home to her parents. This was all relayed to me by her older sister, Jackie, who's trying to be the mediator. She asked me if I really was going to end the relationship. I responded that I'm not sure if we can even salvage it. 2 days later, Jamie's parents asked me to visit them for a talk. I agree and go the next day. Jamie's parents and her older sister are present. We go to their living room and sit down. They looked sad and tired, and I felt the same. Jamie will be the last topic of our talk. First is me. They wanted my parents to be involved. I feel disrespected as we're already adults. Plus, me and my father are tense, but I relent as I'm already tired and a bit out of my depth. Marriage was in discussion in the past after all. Finally, we talk about Jamie. She's stuck in her room, miserable and ashamed. Otherwise, okay. She'll stay with her parents for now. When she's needed by the police, she can stay with Jackie in a hotel. They understand that I needed space. They've submitted a report to our city's cybercrime office. They live 1 to 2 hours away in the suburbs. I'm needed for the investigation. I explained that I wasn't the one who found the video, but I'll try to get Mike involved. They apologize for Jamie, but I tell them she's the one who needed to apologize and that they shouldn't baby her. They agree, but begged me to not argue right now since Jamie may relapse. They explain her psychologist's assessment: spontaneous nervous breakdown, no history of mental illness, concluded to be caused by accumulated stress from her studies and acute stress reaction from our argument. She needs rest in a safe environment. Psych almost called the police on me, but they had convinced them not to, and with no physical trauma observed, gave up. The discussion developed to apologizing. Tears from Alice especially, and other noise, but they did want to take charge of everything. The investigation, Jamie's well-being, her education and finances, etc. I was kind of washed off of everything. 8 days later, Alice calls me in the middle of the night begging me to see Jamie. Depressive episode, kitchen knife, locked in the bathroom, yelling for me. Worst hour of my life. I'm pretty sure I almost died twice on the road and glad that my country isn't developed enough for the highway cameras. I meet Alice and Jackie outside the house waiting for me. Jamie is mostly calmed and Julio's with her in her room. They begged me to go see her, and with how bad the situation looked, I rushed to Jamie. She's an effing wreck. Looked like her blood had been drained and hasn't slept for a while. She starts crying the moment she sees me and reaches out her arms. Whatever anger, exhaustion, and anxiety melted away, and I embrace her. She kept apologizing and begging for me to stay. I shush her and hold her tight. She eventually goes to sleep, and I take a moment to think about what's happening. I genuinely felt heartbroken seeing her like this. This is not how I thought where we'll be together in the future, much less this Christmas. I'm losing my best friend and would have been a partner for life. This was the person who helped me through my depression when even my own family dismissed it. She's even the one who made me make journals to help process what I was going through. It's actually ironic how she's the reason how good I can write down details on her affair and how bad it affected me. She's not evil. She's a beautiful, patient, and overall wonderful human being. Thinking of all the stuff we've been through, what we've done for each other, if I were to list all of it, it would probably reach twice the word count for my post. I love her, and I was prepared to be with her for life and face everything that comes with it. And she destroyed that. I wake up before her and go to the kitchen for coffee. Jackie is there and explains that she's had 2 episodes before, and this was the worst yet. All of us except Jamie talk on what to do. Alice is in chemo for breast cancer. Julio runs a business 20 minutes away. Jackie's workplace is already hounding her, and Jamie needs help. The situation is effed, and everyone is exhausted. Jamie needs therapy. I implied a mental institution, and that almost got my head torn off. But no one can look after her 24/7. They asked me to reschedule the inevitable and try to help her. There were definitely some emotional manipulation, but they are desperate. Due to my obvious lingering attachment and my own respect and love for these people, I agree. And this is where I effed up. I go home, talk to Mike about the investigation. He agrees to talk to the police. I call Alex and explain all the BS happening. He warns me that this didn't sound like the right call. A mental institution was probably the best, and I'm just going to get hurt. Regardless, he'll stand by my decision and call when I need him. I love this guy. I've already scheduled a consultation for therapy, and Jamie will have a different one scheduled 3 days from now in my city. I just want to take a really long nap and get away from all of this. Well, it's obviously terrible that she cheated on him. That's the first thing that I'm going to say. And then it's also terrible that she is also a victim of having someone post that online. Like, I can't even imagine if that happened to me and how absolutely devastated I would be. What's really, interesting to me is, honestly, I mean, I'm sure she would have said it. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, because I kind of just forgot that they were dating for 8 years, but I was thinking maybe it was from before they were dating, but he would definitely be able to tell, because 8 years of dating is a really long time. So she would probably look a lot different. But I mean, that is just insane. And I feel really bad for OP, but I also feel really bad for Jamie, because that's so terrible to go through. And I can't even imagine, oh my God, that would actually suck to have that. Oh, I would have a mental breakdown as well, for sure. And then another thing on top of that is that he's definitely not responsible for taking care of her. Like, he's not a therapist. He's not a licensed psychologist, psychiatrist. Like, he shouldn't be the one that is in charge. He's also going through trauma as well that she put him through, that he needs to work on by himself away from her. And I truly think that it is very manipulative of the people in Jamie's life to try to convince him to like be there to help her, because that's not what's best for her. Even like, what's best for her is probably a mental institution or hardcore therapy like every single day, especially after this like terrible mental breakdown that she's been having. And I just feel like putting that on OP is really messed up, because he's also going through a lot as well. Like, just because he's not having the same reaction like mentally, and he's not having like mental breakdowns, doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt just as bad or maybe even worse. And I'm not even going to compare the two, because I think they're so different. Like, she is a victim of this cybercrime, which is awful and terrible, and he is a victim of cheating, which is awful and terrible. So that's not even going to be in my wheelhouse right now, but I just have to say that they need to just go their separate ways and work on things separately away from each other. And that's really all. Like, he's not responsible to heal her. And on top of that, it's going to hurt him even more to be there for her when he's literally going through something awful as well. But there is an update, so let's read it. So it's been over 2 weeks since my last post, where I proceeded to get my ass handed to me. I'm not complaining. You guys were right. I do need to leave and start living my own life. A lot has actually happened since, but thankfully most of it's boring, sad, and disappointing. I got myself a behavioral therapist, which is something I should have done a long time ago. I have different problems unrelated to this that Jamie did help me through most, but a professional really does make a difference. Gave me a lot of hard questions, important questions that forced me to put my life into perspective. It was liberating. Finally, I talked with my own family about this. For context, I'm not very close with my actual parents, particularly with my father. Broken home and all that. I consider my aunts, my father's 4 sisters who stepped up to take care of me as a child, to be my real parents. So if I mention family, I really mean just my 4 moms. It turns out they were more involved than I thought. Jamie talks to them. She loved talking with them about me and our relationship. They got closer for it too. She asked so many questions about me, what I liked, my favorite food, hobbies, what my childhood was like. She'd ask advice from them about so many things. What to do when I get pissy, how to get my ass moving, all that cute stuff. Around a year ago, when they noticed that I started acting positively, when they played around with the topic of marriage, Jamie and my family started to get ready. 3 of them have families with at least 3 children each. So to help ease the accommodation, they saved money to pay for themselves, and anything extra goes to the wedding, to us, and whatever after. They even talked about engagement rings. Calling them disappointed is an understatement. With the bullshit happening now, they opted to give me half of what they saved for the marriage to help me out, and also offer to take me back again, which truly is a massive help. My biggest problem this whole time was a source of income. I didn't have a job lined up out of my city, still don't, and my savings are meager. With all that settled, I gave my employer my resignation letter, canceled my lease, and have by the end of the month to sort my affairs. I'm leaving for good. As for Jamie, I have gradually stepped out of whatever's been happening with her and around her. I talked with her family, or more like told them that I'm leaving, gave them information about psychiatric holds, and made them handle her appointments with her psychologist and whatever else she needs. It was a sad affair, really. I know it doesn't seem like it, especially with Alice and Julio making me stay and take care of Jamie, but this is a first time for all of us. They raised 4 great kids. Their relationships are great, and they even extended that to me, even when they barely knew me. Jamie effed up the worst, and this isn't something anyone can expect anyone else to handle with ease and grace. I mourned my loss of a potential family that I could have been proud to be with. For the POS who filmed her, I still haven't confronted her about it. But Mike and Jackie shared what she told the police and how the investigation is going. It was a Korean national she says she met on social media for a fling. She said they only screwed once, but that was immediately shot down. The video showed 2 different, distinct rooms and got pressured to admit where it was in case they can get anything like CCTV, social media posts, logbooks, witnesses, etc. And that they did. 1 hotel still had recordings that day. 2 hotels with logbooks containing names and dates in their DMs. She didn't mention grape, blackmail, or drugs in play, only mild intoxication, which was all obvious in the video, apparently. Everything but the recording was consented. There were some possible routes to take in terms of damages, but when a lawyer got contacted, it was pretty much dead on the water. POS, being a Korean national currently in Korea, muddied the legal waters. They can do nothing else other than contact relevant Korean authorities, gather as much evidence, and wait. But the lawyer wasn't confident anything might stick. As far as they know, they have no evidence that it was even the POS who set up the cameras. Beyond that, POS stayed the night before, and the cameras are obviously long gone since. There are far too many angles the POS can play to delay or even win any lawsuit that reaches him. It will be most likely expensive, drawn out, with very little chance of winning. So they gave up that route. The POS is getting off scotch-free. Why did Jamie do it? I don't know. Before, I didn't have the guts to ask her. And now it doesn't really matter. I'm not as exhausted as before, and my mind's been clearer. I'm leaving for good regardless of why she did it. I can just walk straight out with no explanation, or maybe leave a letter for her, thanking her for the wonderful time that we spent together, the love we shared, and a final goodbye. I'm romantic like that. Still, I've decided to handle this with as much grace as I can. I'll help when worse comes to worse. Don't lay blame on myself or her family, and not even mount pressure on Jamie for ruining everything. Not for Jamie, but for my own twisted sense of self-gratification that I did all what can be expected and more. I will leave with my back straight and nose held high. Funnily enough, they did eventually show me how lucky I am despite everything. Yes, the love of my life cheated on me and had the audacity to throw a tantrum over it. My future's looking a little bleak. I found out so much repressed anxiety and anger from my shitty childhood, but I'm still doing pretty great. I have family that loves me, friends that have my back, and despite her betrayal, brought the best out of me with wonderful memories along with it. I have nothing to be ashamed of and can say with pride that I was a wonderful boyfriend. Hopefully, this will be my last update. If not, the next to be far more boring and less mouthy. Okay. I also forgot to say, and I just randomly thought of it, the fact that in the first post, he said that he showed her parents the video was crazy to me. Because I'd be like, please, I don't want to see that of my daughter. Like, I don't want to see, that's scary. Like, I don't want to see that. I'd be like, you can just explain it. Like, I'd rather not see that. And yeah, I'm glad he like is figuring things out and he decided to take steps away from her because obviously what she did was terrible. I do like hate that he's saying she like is throwing a tantrum or whatever just because I feel like he's watering down her like mental health crisis a little bit because what she went through is a lot and is very traumatic. And I think that we can like kind of take that as a situation outside of this and like no one deserves that. No matter what you do, like if you cheated on someone, you still don't deserve to have your video blasted for everyone to see. And like that's just so messed up. But I'm glad that he figured everything out. The top comment says, it's good that he gave up on trying to understand why she did it. This level of self-sabotage could mean she doesn't even know. Some people are just like that. They can't be happy, and when life doesn't throw the curveball, they do it themselves. It's better to let go and refocus on the more important part. Heal, move on, leaving her behind, so the ghost of what she did doesn't poison his future relationships. And then, wait, I think this is OP. Is this OP? They said, actually, someone said, based on the police's reaction, it seems pretty real to me. Source, I got sexually extorted twice. Exact same thing happened where the cops didn't pursue because the perpetrator is overseas. And then someone commented, and I'm assuming this is OP, said, actually, the cybercrime police were pretty motivated to pursue. It was the lawyer they hired that pretty much brought the reality that the case was not going to be easy. His advice at the time was to simply cooperate with the police and provide as much evidence that they could. But the fact that the police could not find and provide any direct evidence of the guy purchasing, bringing, and or setting up the cameras and no evidence he even uploaded the films brought confidence down. They were confident he was involved somehow, seeing he was the same guy on obviously 2 separate times of sexual acts, but that could easily turn to my ex being a perp too. And then someone said, how are you doing now, 18 months on? I hope you've been able to heal and move forward with your life. And they said, still in the trenches, but hey, at least I'm fighting. And then someone said, it's so rare that the OOP finds the Boru post, hey man, welcome, and I'm glad you decided to focus on you. And they said, oh, well, it's not so rare if the OOP is active on Boru. I've been here for a while now. In fact, it was someone who's also active in this sub who recognized my username informed me about this because they've seen my comments in here. That was 2 months ago that he's been commenting this stuff. All right, we're going to move on to the next story. And the title of the next story is Am I the Asshole for Staying with My Husband After He Cheated, but only because I want to slowly ruin his life as well as his coworker that he cheated on me with? So, backstory. I'm married for 15 years with 6 kids together, Brady Bunch style. His, mine, ours. The youngest is 18, so no need to stay for the kids. I've mostly been a stay at home, but I've gone through school on and off and I have my MBA, but no real job experience. Go figure. He's 55. I'm 44. The coworker he cheated on me with is 24. She's also married with 2 little girls. After I found out, I told him I was going to divorce him and leave. I also texted that girl and told her I was going to show up at her house and tell her husband, which I didn't yet. He told me that he would stop talking to her, begged me to stay for us to work on our marriage, that he loves me, blah, blah, blah. He's going to counseling. I honestly don't give 2 shits at this point, except about myself. I started working on myself, using my anger to go to the gym and eat better. I've lost 30 pounds. I'm feeling okay. But here's the conundrum. I have given everything I have to this man, raised his kids, our kids. I was at his beck and call, served him his food when it was dinner time. He didn't have to worry about absolutely anything except going to work and coming home. I took care of everything. He still cheated on me, and I can't forgive him. So the longer I thought about it, I decided I'm going to stay with him, pretending everything is okay, and I'm going to slowly ruin his life, like he did mine. As for the mistress, I've been laying low for the last few months, not really causing any ruckus about that, but it's just because I'm waiting for the day before her birthday to send an email to her husband with all the screenshots I have of her and my husband's text messages back and forth, as well as audio recordings that I have. I'm also tagging her on Facebook and all of her friends and family and coworkers, so they can see the type of person she is, as well as my husband. I would tag him, but he doesn't have Facebook. But his whole name will be there, and they'll know. Is this too much? Am I the asshole now? If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you. I need some input. Her birthday is in 3 weeks, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Honestly, like, girl, do it. What do you mean? Do it. Like, first of all, that's a double homicide. She cheated on her husband. She has 2 kids. Also, at the age of 24, you're already cheating on your husband. I'm not saying that there's like a time frame. I don't even know why I said that, honestly. But like, I wonder if he cheated before that, because I feel like that's actually crazy to be married for that long. I mean, probably not. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just thinking like, damn, you cheated on your husband. He cheated on his like long-term wife that literally did everything. Probably wiped his ass too. And then this girl, like, you're 24 years old and you're already cheating on your freaking husband. And oh my God. Yeah, I would do this. I would do that. I don't know actually what I would do if someone cheated on me like that. But like, I truly do think that I would be so angry that like someone would have to pay. Like, and I would need to be responsible for the karma that they received, because I just don't know. I don't think that I'm the type of girl that's just like, it's fine, karma will get them. Karma is amazing. Like, you know, karma will get them. Will it though? Because you don't know. He could end up living the rest of his life so easy, scot-free, nothing happening. He literally got his whole entire life freaking, I mean, yeah, he had to go to work, but like he had everything else so easy, got everything handed to him at home. His kids taken care of, everything else taken care of. And he deserves it. He deserves that. But there's an update, so let's read it. Update. So first off, thank you for the response. It was overwhelming to say the least. So I'll answer some questions. This happened back in the end of October, so it's been a hot minute. I was 24, divorced, and had 1 daughter. He was divorced, had 2 kids, and after we got together, we had 3. No cheating on either part at the start of our relationship. I'm in charge of all the bills, so I know where all the money goes to, and have been setting some aside for the future. I did enroll in an accelerated nursing program, so I'm getting my future self together. Our kids and family know what happened. Not everything, but enough to know that my husband was at fault. I needed to make sure that I was in control of the narrative and did not end up looking like a bitter wife, spouse, whatever. They understand and stated that they would be okay with whatever I decide to do. I do have 2 posts on here from a swinger sub. I was open to trying new things to try and save marriage, but my husband was very pushy about me sleeping with another woman, which women are beautiful creatures. That was fine, but he wasn't okay with me sleeping with other men, and he wanted to watch while I slept with other women. At the end of the day, I decided that was not for me, and I wasn't going to do that, and so I just haven't taken the post down. Yes, they say I'm 35. I did fib a little bit, but I'm really 45, and those pictures were real. It is what it is. I tried, but yeah, not going to happen. Reaching out to the mistress's husband this weekend. Will update when I have any new news. No Facebook post yet, though. I think I'll give him a heads up beforehand. Thanks. Wait, why are you giving him a heads up? What the hell? And also, all the extra information is crazy. Like, why do I kind of want to go to her freaking posts and see what she was posting in this swingers club? Also, this was 5 months ago. Oh, there's nothing. She deleted all the other posts, which is kind of annoying. Because I wanted to see. And she said there were pictures. Like, I wanted to see what you look like, girl. The top comment says, not the asshole for wanting revenge, but I think you should hold off on outing the AP until you do some other things. First, you should find a great job. Take the time and lack of desperation to find something you love that will give you a sense of satisfaction. Getting a job will give you the excuse to stop cooking and cleaning for your cheater. You should also speak to a divorce attorney. Get advice on how to get the most out of the divorce. Again, taking your time to make sure you do it correctly and have the space to gather all the information you need. Once you get it together, keep those papers on hand for the big blowout. Stop having sex with him. He doesn't deserve your revenge body. Flirt with other people. It would be good for you to have friendships he doesn't know, so he can see you walking around texting others and smiling over what they're saying. Gather money in a personal account and make a go bag with your important papers. Try and take some time away from him. Tell him you need a vacation alone to think about things. When he realizes he's lost you, it's the time to out the AP. Whoa, that's kind of silly, honestly. This is like where I would want to be posting on Reddit if I got cheated on like this, because, and honestly, like, oh baby, I wish I had this I wish I knew about Reddit back in the day when I was like going through toxic shit in my relationships, because I would have been on here every day freaking typing away. Sunshine Shady said, yes, OP should lawyer up before she does this. If it's not on the affair partner's birthday, so what? Money is at stake. Secure funds in a personal account because he could try to cut her off. Gather all personal documents, including passports, birth certificates, social security cards for kids too, and the title to her car. Definitely tell the cheated on husband before it all blows up. Oh, the cheated on husband. Okay. I would add, if OP is considering doing any plastic surgery like a tummy tuck, do it now on the husband's dime and then implode the marriage. That stuff's expensive, but worth it. The tummy tuck, girl. No, wait, seriously, if there's ever been any like surgery you've been wanting to do, girl, take that credit card and go swiping. That's actually such a good idea. I love how everyone is so supportive. Like, yeah, great idea, do that. And they're just like, everyone else is giving even more advice, like saying to, like, for example, that girl saying, get a tummy tuck on his dime. I wish that she had updated, like, again, because I want to know how everything ends up panning out and, like, what she ends up doing, because I want to see, like, oh my God, I really wish. And I love how freaking Facebook is always so dramatic. Like, oh my God, wait, I really wish. Okay. My friend from like middle school that I'm not really friends with anymore, but we are like civil. Like, if I saw her when I went home, like, I would talk to her, whatever. Not the point. But she ended up having a kid with this guy that she'd been dating like on and off all throughout freaking high school. Like, literally, she was obsessed with him. And I'm not even kidding you. Like, I've never seen this level of obsessed, okay? I also dated this kid in middle school, like 7th grade. And he was always known as like he was the worst kid. And I don't know, I had a bad boy phase, okay? I dated 3 like skater boy bad boys in middle school. Those are the only 3 people I dated because that was my type then, I guess. I went through a lot of different types of boys and men. I don't even know if I would call any one that I dated a man, honestly, but yeah, so I dated him in like 7th grade and we broke up, and he literally called me a fat see you next Tuesday, okay? But he actually said it. Like, he came up to my locker, I think it was in 8th grade, and he hated me for some reason, but he was just like he was a terrible person. He still is a terrible person. Like, nothing has changed with him. He's probably gotten way worse as well. I've heard terrible things, which is what I'm about to get into. But so he comes up to me. I'm literally in 8th grade. Like, yeah, and I was a little bit chunky in 8th grade too. And he's calling me a fat see you next Tuesday. So what do? I go to the freaking counselor's office and I file a harassment report on him. This was like something that we like harassment reports. Everyone filed harassment reports, and it was like, even if someone was just saying like, you're ugly, someone like, if someone said you're ugly, that person that got called ugly was going to Mrs. What was her name? It started with a B. Mrs. B, her office, and filing a harassment report immediately. So I filed a harassment report on him. I had many harassment reports filed on people because if someone was mean to me, I was going to let someone know, and I was going to fill out the paperwork for it as well. And then we also found out that him and this other guy that were like best friends, these were like the two bad boys that were like in our grade. There were a lot of bad boys, but like these were the two worst ones. And apparently they lit an entire cornfield on fire in my hometown, which is just fucking insane because imagine the surprise when you find out that they lit an entire cornfield on fire and didn't get in trouble for it. A lot of terrible things. Like he lost his virginity in like 6th grade. Like sixth grade, which is just another story. And so many more things. And let me know why. So I thought he kind of was reformed, okay? He like went through a really, really, really bad phase, and for years and years he was like really bad. And then I stopped, obviously, like that was all in middle school, and then in the beginning of high school he was like still pretty bad, but then like there was a point in time where he started becoming kind of reformed, and he started being friends with like the more normal people that didn't get in trouble all the time. And that was like who I was friends with. So I was like, okay, I'll be friends with you again. Like I'll be very loose terminology of friends, but I think I went to like junior year homecoming with this guy, and honestly, like I just wanted to go to homecoming because it was like a thing in our high school where like you had to go to every dance, or like you were a loser if you didn't go. So, which don't ask me. I literally just like wanted to fit in and wanted to be cool all the time in high school and middle school. So of course I was going to like try to go to every single dance with whoever was going to be in that group, because we had like different homecoming groups. So like my friends, whoever they were going with, I would go with whoever they were friends with, if that makes sense. Because I didn't date anyone other than like my boyfriend for 6 months, and he didn't even freaking take me to prom. He was just so terrible. He was so shitty. Anyways, I'm just going so far into this and like going so far back for no reason when there's really like only one point to this story. But I just feel like there's a lot of lore to this guy that like leads up to this very moment. And everyone knows this guy was crazy, okay? But my friend stayed obsessed with him for years and years and years, on and off. He was always cheating on her. He was like, honestly, probably, and I don't know, but probably abusive, because he was very much like anger problems, like scary. And once we graduated, they were actually dating for good, I guess. I don't really know how I would explain it, but yeah, they were like actually dating, because she had been fighting to be like with him for real for so long, for so many years. And then finally after high school, they got together for good. And I thought maybe he would change. Maybe he would become a reformed person again. And no, he didn't, because they were so toxic. And which honestly, like he was so effed up. Like he did so many, and I don't know why I keep repeating that, but he did so many terrible things. Him and this girl that I used to be friends with were drinking like all day one day, and then they got in a huge fight, and she got in her car and she left, and she was drunk driving, which obviously terrible. No one should be drunk driving, but like he called the cops on her but not because he cared about people. That's what I want to say, because I don't agree with drunk driving at all, okay? But not because he cared about people. It was because he wanted her to get in trouble because he was evil. Like, he wanted her to go to jail and like get in trouble. And they were still dating. Like, they were dating. They had been dating for probably a couple of years at that point. And he called the cops on her so that she would get a DUI. And she ended up getting a DUI because the cops pulled her over. And yeah, she like ended up having to go to jail and stuff. And a lot of terrible stuff happened, which she deserved because she was drunk driving. But the reason that he did it, and I just know for a fact that it wasn't for the betterment of the community. It was just so that he could like control her and be terrible. But she goes on to have a kid with this guy, which I can't even. And now she has like a restraining order against him. But before, like when they had a kid together and everything, I don't even know if it was when she was pregnant or after she ended up having the kid, he put on Facebook, and this was my whole point, was that like Facebook drama is the best, because he put on Facebook something about her sister, and her sister was like 2 years older than us, and we were like friends with all of her friends and all of that jazz. And like, so she had been dating this guy for a couple of years, and he put on Facebook, like he put a bunch of statuses on Facebook, and this was like a couple of years ago, it wasn't that long ago, saying like that her and her, or his ex-girlfriend, we'll just call her Sabrina, okay? Sabrina was the girl that I was friends with in middle school and kind of in the beginning of high school. He put on Facebook, Sabrina's sister and her boyfriend are so disgusting. They eat each other's shit, like outing them, saying that they like eat each other's shit and all of this other crazy stuff, like sexual stuff that they did. I don't even know if I would call that sexual, but like when they're like, their foreplay is like eating each other's shit. And I was like, whoa, that was crazy. He was definitely drunk when he posted that. And I wish I could find the post because it was the craziest, most insane post. Everyone was like, what the fuck? Because even though it was like years after I graduated high school, still me and my friends always send back and forth things that like happen in our hometown, which I'm sure everyone does that. But yeah, that was such a long and drawn out story for just the fact that little tiny section about Facebook being crazy because he posted that they eat each other's shit. But I just was like actually so confused. I was like, what do you mean they eat each other's shit? What do you mean? That is insane. And I honestly kind of believed it. I honestly kind of believe it still. I'm going to like go. I want to look at this guy. I actually want to look at his Facebook right now and see if there's anything crazy that I can find. And this poor kid, like the poor freaking kid that he has now, like he's not even able to see his dad. Well, first of all, his last post says, ladies, honest question here. Does postpartum depression last more than 2 years? I'm assuming that is like a subtweet about his ex. Ew. See, this is crazy. We're 27 years old and this is the type of stuff that he's reposting on Facebook, okay? He reposted this and this person said, vagina, I don't know if I can say it on here. Pussy, okay? Tighter than a U-turn with no power steering fluid. He reposted that on his Facebook and said, some just got it like that though. Hashtag, I won't tag you though. Like, you're 27 years old, you're grown up with a child, and you're posting that on Facebook? I'm like scared, literally scared. He reposted, sorry, you guys probably don't give a damn about this, but like I just actually am dying right now. He reposted, I need a vacation with a freak and no phone service. Okay, I'm fucking scared of you. So scared. And last year he said, he put on his Facebook status, I'm in love with the viral hawk to a girl. Laughing, crying emoji. Okay. I'm crying right now. It's so funny. Like, that is so funny. Sorry, that was such a long... I don't know why I always apologize. Like, shut up. You can literally talk about whatever you want on your podcast, okay? So stop apologizing. I wanted to tell you guys that because I feel like that's fucking funny as shit stuff. Like, that's hilarious. And I just think it's so funny. Like, you're literally 27-year-old man. He's honestly... he's 28 next month. Not me remembering his birthday. 28 next month. And he is posting that stuff on Facebook with a child. Like, come on. But anyways, let's move on. Sorry. Let's move on to this next episode. This next title. The title is My 35 Female Husband, 36 Male, Admitted to Cheating with His Best Friend, 36 Male. I'm not mad, and I don't know why. Any advice would help. I, 35 female, have been married to my husband for a bit under 10 years now. We have no children. Yesterday night after dinner, my husband, Jay, broke down and admitted he's been sleeping with his childhood best friend, Pete, for quite a while now, longer than I want to say. It was the first time I've seen him cry in more than 2 years over something serious. Jay is the kind that cries over dogs dying in shows but is stony silent at tragedy. However, I'm not mad. I'm not even sure I care. I do love my husband more than anything in the world, and I don't want to leave him. I can't move on. I can't stay like this, and I don't want to. But Jay has said he won't stop seeing Pete, no matter what I choose. He's sorry for doing this to me, and he has said he loves me, and I'm his wife and heart, but Pete means the same to him. Basically, he can't choose. He loves us both. It falls to me to choose, and I don't know what to do. Honestly, the bit that hurts the most is the fact that Pete is a good friend of mine, but he couldn't face me himself and instead let Jay break down in front of me. Sorry, this turned into a rant. Any advice would help if anyone has gone through something similar. So wait, what are you trying to say? That you're not mad, you don't care, you don't want to leave him. Do what you want. I don't even know what advice to give you. If you want to be in a relationship with him and he has and you guys have an open marriage, you can do that. Or you can stay with him if you really don't care and be you can date this guy and also date me at the same time as long as you're open about it. Do you want to have a three, what is the relationship called where you're dating 3 people? Polyamorous relationship? Okay. No judgment here. Do whatever you want. If you're not mad about it, you don't have to be mad about it if you really don't care. Would that hurt me? Yes. I would be pissed. But if you don't care, you don't have to force yourself to be mad about it. Edit, it comes up a bit, so my husband has been openly bisexual since before I even met him. Peter is bi or pan. He's dated guys and girls and other in the past, no one in the last 3 years to my knowledge. I'm straight. Edit 2, since apparently I have no self-esteem, I guess I couldn't possibly have 4 degrees, a PhD, make roughly $120,000 a year, be the main provider for the household, run my own business, and go to the gym twice a week. I know I look good. I actually have a rather large ego about myself. This honestly has nothing to do with self-esteem. I don't know where it reads that I'm a poor little girl who got in over her head by a big, strong man, but I can bench press Jay and wait. I know what I'm worth, and I know I want Jay, so... See, I don't agree. I don't think that means that she has low self-esteem. I think that everyone has different preferences in dating, and I think that's totally okay. If you're okay with that, then that's fine. That doesn't mean you're insecure. Someone said, leave. And then OP said, I don't know if I should, though. We're happy. We can still be happy. Throwing that away seems, I don't know. And then someone said, so you don't mind sharing your husband? How many nights a week will you get to be with him? Or will his friend be moving in with you? And then she said, I don't know. He's managed to be with Pete enough in the time we currently have. I don't know how it would have changed if I stayed. So there's an update, and it's 2.5 months later. Hi all. Some of you are about to lose your shit. Side note, I chose to cancel my meeting with Pete. After reading all of your advice, I chose to ask for space, which he, J36 male, freely gave. He was staying at a friend's house when I called. I couldn't face him yet, and asked. This helped to confirm what I already knew. He was indeed staying with our mutual friends, a married lesbian, both 36 female couple. So no, he didn't run to Pete, 36 male, as some of you thought. I was leaning towards separation after reading your advice. Well, a few days later, after I requested space, I decided to ask for separation officially. To cut a long and ice cream and tear-filled 3 weeks short, I caved and called him. I did not beg for him back or anything like that. I asked him out for a walk, and we had a long talk. It was a fair while ago, so I can't type word for word what was said, but it boiled down to this. 1, I still love him no matter what. 2, he still loves me no matter what. 3, he loves Pete no matter what. 4, he does not value either of us above the other. When he spoke about me leaving, but him not leaving Pete, he was giving me an out more than anything else. Jay would be destroyed if I chose to leave, but he didn't want me to stay if I truly didn't want to, which is why he didn't beg for me to stay. After this talk, we stayed separate for a few more days. About 7 weeks ago, Jay moved back home and Pete came over for dinner. That talk was longer, harder, and contained more personal details that I do not want to share here. But the points were as follows. Jay and Pete have not been together as long as I feared. It's about 28 months, not since they were teens. Pete truly didn't want me to get hurt, and he was the one pushing Jay, to be honest with me. Pete is gay, but he dated girls in the past. Neither of us are attracted to each other, and we are not together. We are all going to individual and couples and group therapy. Couples are each of us, as me and Jay need to work out our marriage and emotions. Pete and Jay need to work out the secrecy and talk through their own relationship. And Pete and I want to work on working together. Something I should have mentioned but didn't due to the fact that I know how Reddit would react is I'm asexual. I'm not in any way sexually attracted to my husband or anyone for that matter. However, I choose to sleep with him as I know that he enjoys it. I still have a libido. I just don't feel the need to have sex. When I have sex with Jay, which is rarely, once every 2-ish months, it isn't a chore, but a more intimate cuddle. Jay knows this and has known this in our entire marriage. In fact, he was the one who helped me figure out that I was asexual. If this is hard for you to understand, remember attraction does not equal choices. Acephobes will be blocked with no reply. Honest questions can be answered. So yeah, that's my story. I can take further questions in the comments. See, that's where it's like, don't be judgmental about the way that other people like live their lives. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not for you, that doesn't mean that it's not for like that other people don't feel that way. And we all have different lives. Like we all have different things that affect the way that we are, and the way that we grew up affect the way that we see the world differently. And it's like not hurting anyone else. It's not hurting you. It's not hurting anyone. It's their relationship. And she's not even hurt by it, but I feel like she felt gaslit by the comments to be hurt by it, which is why she ended up asking for separation. When in the first post, she literally said, like, I don't care. I still love my husband and I don't want to leave him, basically. And then Reddit came on and was like, you're so insecure. You just want to stay with him. But she's not. She's literally not insecure. It's just like people can't grasp that other people love differently or see relationships differently. And also see like sexual attraction differently. And it's just so annoying that some people can't wrap their tiny little peanut brains around the fact that not everyone is the same. Like, I don't expect everyone to see the world. I mean, yeah, sometimes I get annoyed when like I see the world a certain way, like how I see it right now. Like me being very, like I'm very, especially as I've gotten older, like I wasn't as educated about a lot of stuff like growing up in Iowa and stuff, and I've definitely learned a lot within the past, like just being an adult since moving away from home and seeing the world differently and experiencing a lot of more different people. And that has made me grow so much in like the way that my mind is so much more open now, and I just can understand why people are different. And it's just like that's just how it is. Like it pisses me off when people don't understand. Like, just have an open mind and just like, hey, if you're happy that way, that doesn't mean this. Like, because you're happy letting your husband be with someone else and you're totally fine with that, that means that people think that this person is insecure immediately. Because, I mean, probably because she's a woman as well. So, of course, that's like the first thing that they're going to think is that she's insecure because she just wants to stay with this man no matter what he does. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's actually not even, that's not the case here. She just is asexual and is fine with her husband being with someone else. Like, that doesn't mean that you have to be okay with that. I don't know. Whatever. People need to be more open-minded, okay? Seriously. Relevant comments. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Are you guys a throuple minus the sex, or did you get back together with Jay and accept he sleeps with Pete? Also, does that mean you now don't have to have sex with Jay out of obligation anymore because he's getting his needs met by Pete? And she said, me and Pete are not together. I don't know if I will sleep with Jay again. It's something I'm working on in therapy. And they're going to therapy. Like, bravo. Let's hear some applause because they're going to therapy. They're working it out. We love that for them. And like, if they're happy, I'm happy. Okay? I mean, as long as they're not hurting anyone. Like, obviously, if it was the other way around and it was like she was really upset and didn't want her husband to be with this person and was so sad that he cheated on her, but then she was like, but I want to stay with him just because I love him, then I would be like, girl, don't do that. But she stated that she actually doesn't care. So, like, it's fine. But a lot of people are just being really judgmental. This person said, yeah, I don't want to judge, and if this works out for the three of them, good for them. I hope it does. But it sounds like OOP is married to a spineless man who cheated with another spineless man. In OOP's shoes, I would always wonder if they were both too weak to actually make a decision and express a preference and just left me to do it instead. Poly and open relationships can work, but I have yet to see a successful long-term relationship between a human and a jellyfish. What does that mean? A jellyfish? What does that mean? I'm actually confused. Is she saying that, like, she's spineless or what? Apathetic Villainess said, like many intelligent and educated people suffer from imposter syndrome for that exact reason. Self-esteem isn't how the world views you, but how you view yourself. And if she can only see herself based on what others see, that likely is the core problem here. But people are just kind of like over-analyzing her and like picking her apart a little bit. It's like, how about just let her figure it out? And like, I definitely have learned a lot, like just reading Reddit stories so often, like different sexualities and things like that I've learned, or even just like being aromantic and asexual, which I forget what it's called. Ace, I think it's called. Did I get that right, actually? Ace? I'm kind of like proud of myself if I got that right, but like I learned what that was on this podcast, like probably last year. I don't even know when, but so I think the more I learn, like the more open my mind gets, and like I really see the world in such a different light of like there are so many different types of people, different types of relationships, different types of sexualities, and I feel like once you just start to like see the world that way and just like accept the fact that it's literally okay to be different, it's okay to not like be the same as everyone, like I don't need everyone to be straight, like it's totally fine. And some people do, and it's crazy to me because they're like, ew, you're not straight, like oh my god. No, actually sometimes I'm like, ew, you're straight, I'm scared. I literally look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, ew, you're straight, like seriously, you get a grip. I can't believe it. I'm so disappointed in you. Sometimes I genuinely think that. I'm like, you're with, like, and I love my straight boyfriend, okay? I love him so much, but sometimes I'm like, you're with a straight man? I'm scared. But yeah. Anyways, I've been filming for so long. Not really that long, but like sometimes it feels really long when my knees are sweating and clammy and and my boobs are dripping sweat underneath the freaking like creases. Yeah. So I gotta go. But I love you guys so much. I'm going on a trip this weekend. I randomly booked it like 2 days ago, literally just like 3 hours away from where we are. It's a really cute little town and I'm really excited. So love you. Let me know what you thought about this episode, please. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Love you so much. Seriously. Seriously. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.